going to begin opening prayers on page 1 of the Yellow Prayer Book. All mothers, sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfect, complete enlightenment. All mothers, sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. All mothers, sentient beings, limitless as space, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience. May they experience happiness, be free from suffering, and swiftly may they attain precious, unsurpassed, perfectly complete enlightenment. For that purpose, until I attain Buddhahood, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. Until death, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. From today until this time, tomorrow, I will apply my body, speech, and mind to virtue. I take refuge in the Buddhas until I attain the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. I take refuge in the Buddhas until I attain the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. I take refuge in the Buddhas until I attain the essence of awakening. Likewise, I take refuge in the Dharma and in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. Just as the Buddhas of the past gave rise to bodhicitta and progressed along the Bodhisattva's path, so shall I give rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings and practice the stages of the Bodhisattva's path. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Tani natring nga cho chi xia ma xia ti ene kha chung xie sa ke chuni ma xia do re ta kha chung ke chamni ma xia do tani kha chung ke chamni ma xia do ta tane da ji
So for the teachings today, I'm going to continue with where I left it off with yesterday.
tani kha chung nga cho ta la zhi ba ya na da ha di ba ya na da gong jia ba ya na da ta gar ji ba ya na da ta bu ngong la ene chu sam la jap sin ro tang ene sa chu sim je ba de da tam je ta ki chim bo yin ba yin di za ni ene nga zo kha chung de ma xi sen ene train ti chu ni ta ngu ye ene la mo lo ju ma ke nam thar ta ene la mo lo ju ma ji bi pin yo ene de de ji ma ji xi sang.
So yesterday we spoke about is that whatever practice we engage in, whether we are meditating on a deity or we are reciting a mantra or we practice meditation, basically whatever practice we engage in, there is a preliminary as a preliminary preceding to that, we have said we should take refuge in the three jewels, and it's also very important to cultivate bodhicitta. And so, continuing on from that, so after these preliminaries, then we come to the main part of the practice, which I thought I will explain in terms of sharing the history of the goddess Panashavarim, as well as the benefits of her practice.
Tani rito jalamo lo yung mape mashawaran tani ene ta titso mambo kabang hambo titso mambo jing honi rap jitse mo rap jitse rbo chi yai khang de ane ringa yawar nga to zibi da sanji pa de meba chi nyam dalan zom yores.
So, as for the history of Panashavarim, so in the past, many eons in the past, in a jeweled palace at the peak of Mount Meru, many inconceivable Buddhas of the five classes gathered together.
Ini sanji da sanjuk sumba de da tham ji changma molam ji ting yin zeng mo wa sibi ting yin zeng yo de ene tini tini da ji jibi kaps ene tro number nang ji si molam ko top ji ene tro number nang ji se ya ji da tini da ji jong yo res.
And so at that time, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas then placed their minds into samadhi of a vast, pure vision of a Bodhisattva's aspiration. And then as one vision, they transformed into the wrathful Vairocana.
The tro number nangzi laya de la ge da cha tong xia sim ji suni de den ber de tong sam kham nam tong sam nam ke kham tham ji xiap ji ni de ozer ji de ji ting kham ta par ji.
So then this wrathful Vairocana has 9 heads and 1,000 arms and 32 legs, which cover the entire space of the billionfold universe.
ene tada tik tro de ke ene garam holam ta res ne tema ta de corona top shop chim bo yo de zane maung ba la sanji ji tem ba song sim jin le pin thong ke ji yong wa shu ne ta de ji holam ta res.
So that at that time, then Vairocana, he made an aspiration, a prayer, saying that through this power, then may in the future, through my power, may in the future the Buddha's teachings be benefited, and may sentient beings be benefited.
ene tema ta de ene ta ta tro de zog de padin la mo ko jesu nes.
And so in that very moment when he made this aspiration, he transformed into the form of Bardhan Lama Shri Devi.
Tini like tini padin la mo ko je chali ji se tini lai ni de da tham je la phab re si padin la mo ene de lai ni de da phab de chane ta lai pho la la pe me si ba khashi ji pe ta nang je khashi ji na ai mo pho ba je khashi ne ane korong jap sin rwan da ma da ta chunga res.
So then after having transformed into Bardhan Lama Shri Devi, then she traveled throughout the god realms. And so some of those gods were afraid, and some of them laughed, and some of them took refuge in hairs, or various things occurred.
Tini tena yog di bi kirin ze gar song le se kirin ze tena yo yin di chane kirin ze ke ta tela ta go mare choro so je go mare tela chan cho pa da son da molang ji de ni pe me si pa ya po yo re song de ta kirin ze ke tena pa pa kirin ze ke tena song yin di chane na sama ke chan cho pa da son da molang ji re en tena de ji jin di chane na la mo pa din la mo ka ni ji mo ba la mo rang yang ka ba ka ni ka ba mo ba ti cho ka yang no wa ji la na mo yang mo par zo ba sang ji ji ba tena da ji song yo res.
And so at that time there was also Chenrezig, and then Chenrezig told those gods, "Don't be afraid. but take refuge in her, make offerings to her, pay homage to her, prostrate to her. And so then after having said that, then all those gods then were not afraid, and they praised her and paid homage to her. And then also she received a prophecy for her future enlightenment, how she's going to attain, as what Buddha she's going to attain enlightenment in the future.
Tene tijis apadil hamote rap ten yundi sheng chong sia ji sacha ji resha ta tana phamdu tana pudi chani tene par chana dojin ji par chana doje ki ta thangmala ta lamon dal som chu so wa da molam chan chu ba jiwa yana tana maung balang ni dab ja chim bo ta te ma da simjin le phin tu bo yong ga res ne ta ta song yo wa res ta te indi chani telam kopi la po do mo la mo ga yana te da tam ji chama ki padil hamola chan chu ba ta tana ma bo ji yo res.
Then after that, she traveled to Kanadi Saturday Main Karare.
Rarap yundi sheng tong sin saja yundi sheng tong paje chana doje ki yusi ni ji resha.
Yeah, so then she traveled to like a place called like a kind of like a wish fulfilling meritorious place, which is like the dwelling place of Vajrapani. And so then when she was there, then all the various gods and spirits and so on, they are also offered praise and prostrated to her. And so then Vajrapani said that anyone who praises this goddess and is just like praising myself, and she will grant you refuge and protection and bestow all accomplishments or attainments that you desire.
Tene ti ji la ta sanjok sambat la tonggen zejin sin da sanjok sambat ji yore ta te la sa chung chin sin ji yo sa ta te ki misi mo ba ma bo je de kap se pa de ha mo ga ni ki yo de cha ne ne pa de ha mo la ta Panashavarim ta te la mo tong ju ma shi ta me so yo res.
And so then after that, there was a bodhisattva called like the Naga Dungi Tepachen. Yes, yeah. And so he as a bodhisattva and also Nagam, and so then Baden Lamo came to protect him from the attacks by Garuda bird. And so for this reason, then she became known as the Konchok or Dungi protectress.
Tene ti ji ni ne racho sacha chi me ri racho dangawa si de chan ta sacha ki me la dangawa lo gun ta na phap ji shen racho ji za bi lo ma de kong ka ka la so ndo ta ka so na na phapa ma pham bi zong di bi la mo racho lo ma jin shi ta ta ra ji me ta ndo tene.
And so then she came to a mountain hermitage called Radiant Joy. And there she addressed herself in the leaves, and she then recited the Rani mantra of Ajita. And so then at that time she became known as the goddess dressed in leaves.
Ne lamo racho lo ju ma ta ni tini ta nga so ta da pe ma shawara si mo lamo lo ju ma si ya de me tini tu dus tini ta chetang ke ngo khoni chani shena ne padin lamo ta je chin ro ma pe ma shawara da so ngo chi pa ro chi ta da ji re das tin je chetang ke shena ta chetang ke shena jawa tam ji shi long de chi la go yor wa te na ji chi di chan ta kong la sa da sa ke ngo yen ji na deng de ge yor di na yang ta chi ma so ta da chang mi ke shi pa la ne padin lamo tang ro lo ju ma tang je chin ro ma da so ngo chi pa ro chi ta re shas.
And so then at that time, because Sri Devi Padin Lamo dressed herself in leaves, that's when she became known as Parnashavari, or the goddess dressed in leaves. And so generally in terms of her essence, Panashavarim and Tara and Padinlamo, they all have the same essence. And also generally, we say that all the Buddhas are one within the expanse of primordial wisdom. So in that sense, all the deities really have a single essence. But so in this context here, we say that those three, Panashavarim, Tara, and Padinlamo, have the same essence.
Tene lamon de jipi pinyon rawo chi ta gara yoresina lamon de drawayana gara pintu go yoresina ni pasam betizina ta pecha chin tredi do pasam betli pasam betisini ta pecha tindo tino no dana chi song do dokta thamji hewa ta ne thamji super chibi na pema shawares o ta tene de chi song do.
And so then regarding the benefits of practicing this deity, there is a scripture, a text called the Basam Buddhi, and in there it says that for the benefits of practicing her, Panashavarim is the one known to pacify all haughty ones and known to destroy all disease.
Tene te chamda mazi ji jarbo jimcha trawali tene chomdin di che ne thamchi number jawa hi ne thamchi number jawa doji hi che tingin jana number yong di chane ene nyangin chimo nyebar shiwaran zi ber ha yera tho loma chuma pema shawaran do the song dus.
And there's another text called the Net of Illusion, and so in there it says, when the Buddha dwelt in a samadhi called the Vajra, completely destroying all disease. So he spoke at that time of the Panashavari. He spoke the Panashavarim a knowledge mantra, and that pacifies suffering. And so this was the time when he then spoke the Panashavari Sutra.
Ene tano ji taro ji jimcha trawali ene sanji sheng na rap de yo sidangwan nam ji nyen ya sa ji da tendin nam jor ji go nam ne tham ji shiwaran jorus tan dona 산지 지 신캄 라도 요 타와다 내가 노지 라는 메비 니바 요레 시티 임바 인디 잔 남조 파치다 데바 데다 탐지 곰럽 지와야나 네다 얌 데다 탐지 라페 미시 반데 에두 침보 용거레 시 파퍼 네얌 시기로와 당가서 네얌 데다 탐지 시와라페 핑거로 요레스.
And then also it said in the same text, the Net of Illusion, that the Buddha then proclaimed this knowledge mantra, which caused the Buddha rams to shake, to tremble, and then this caused the evil hearts of harm doers and then infectious disease and flesh eaters and so on to crumble. And he said that if a yogi practices her, then all disease is pacified. So especially this practice is very beneficial when it comes to epidemic disease.
Tani dana joban jikti sungong ke lamo ra tholo yoma jibi pheung rawaji ta tana roji masong do ne te kolangi de fit is jagins.
So then there are some benefits of the practice of Panashavarim, which are taught by Lord Jigten Sumgen, and I'm going to explain this briefly.
Tani mizing COVID nele domze ji kundi ni ji dechin jam so yon rowa sang chung chung long go zi pe pa de phamo trapi shablan dis. Tani mizing COVID nele domze jing sin ta sepa meba sipa kapsong kun COVID ki dongha jam so lo dorshin hoa ta nyangin di ni ji dechin jam so tarbate jam so tawa to par se bi sang chung lam te lang gopran ze pa pote seresina na pa de phamo trapi res. Imba indi chane padi phamo tripi shablan dis padi phamo tbala de chane chupan jiktin singo kani chi ta chabi lama yungu yorwa de indi chane kongke chupan jiktin singo kani ke ne padi phamo tbala ne ta super jobare ta de.
So there it says, so that's in the sadhana. So it says, first liberating us from the diseases of inexhaustible samsara with the ocean of great bliss of samsara and nirvana. You guide us beings to the supreme awakening. Glorious Pamutuba, I bow at your feet. So first, these are words of homage and praise to Jigten Songgon's own root guru, who was Pamudrupa. And so he's saying that, so you're the one who, liberates sentient beings from the suffering and diseases in samsara, and who establishes beings in the state of awakening, is you, the guide, Pamudrupa. So first, the first verse is a verse of homage.
Ranjin Jipa Chibu Nimbala drop the Padi Gypsy Retoma Lamochulu Japs Sunjan and Jipa Colchum Sarchunzen dress. Randa Ying Jipa Chimbo, Kamsong Kubik in Jipa. This said that that later yam teda tamchi kin jipa chimboli and pa meper sepa jipa teda tamchi meper senkinti sari de yorsina and jipsing retro mapema shavar chak yores.
So then it says, glorious goddess Panashavarim, you liberate all others and myself from infliction of great harm. When we have taken refuge in you, sublime goddess, you will protect us from all dangers. Thus I shall write these brief words. So she's the one who protects from all fears and suffering in the three realms of samsara for self and others, and in particular protects from the great fear and danger of epidemic disease. That one is the goddess dressed in leaves, Parnashavari.
Jimsi te yamba indi tsani ta jimsi te indi tsani and hamo retro lojumala and jab sunjana jipa jipa tamdili Yoku Yoa indi tsani ta tela Japs ro sandra sinamundu ta lamo lojuma dripser do diba tsam shitni do diba sana lamo lojum ko do diba tsam shitni ma banji ti sungo kani ke tragi si ta de chindus.
And so then, so these are Jigten Songkhen's words, and so he says that when you take refuge in the goddess Panashavarim, she will protect you from all fears, and therefore we should cultivate a mind wishing to take refuge. And then after having taken refuge, then we must know how to engage in practice. So Jigten Songkhen says, I will explain briefly how to engage in this practice.
Kandachi drab go yo mi ko la ta lamo lojum drab pyo kara yo ta de chiresha ti ba indi tsani ne ta ti ko ne ma nam jan dor di ba tsam shi ta na ti khye gi is
And so then Jigten Songkhen is saying that I'm going to explain how one is supposed to practice Panashavarim, and then also what are the benefits of engaging in her practice. So he said, in brief, I will share how to do this practice. And so generally when we practice the within the Mahayana, the secret mantra Vajrayana, whatever of the four activities, the pacifying, increasing, wrathful, and overpowering and magnetizing activities, whichever one we want to accomplish, when we practice the deity and recite the mantra, it is important that one abides within the Samaya of the empowerment.
savjis la te da tamji drpa yana drpa nyewa ta drap ba ta ga no yin ke sanap chewa ta yores.
So whatever deity one is to practice, if one first receives an empowerment, then the accomplishment of this deity is much closer and the blessings are much greater.
Ni la kara drpa yana ta la sanga do ji te ji ji ke la kara yana re te ni te da tamji ke wang shi chali jis inji me ji tam te te song go ya te ki chimbo yores.
So then whatever deity one is to practice of the secret mantra, after one has received the empowerment of the deity, then it is absolutely necessary and important that one also guards the Samaya.
Tene chatang ke nga ke tam chek la ye tam chek ta sebda ke tam chek song thong ke tam chek song do yobi te chek song do maybe tam chek te nga je chatang ji la so ba ta sa ha ke tam chek ma bo ji yores.
So then, with regard to the Samaya of the secret mantra, there are many different Samayas. There are general Samayas, and then there are specific Samayas, and Samayas of body, speech, and mind, and I kind of graspable and ingraspable Samayas, and then there's the 14 root downfalls and so forth. There's many Samayas in the secret mantra.
Tene te yin ba yin de zani ta te da tham ji no ke chi shi ndo te da ching ha je chatong ji si ni yore ta sa ha je le che bi na ga chatong ji si ta te chi wang shi za de tam chek sung kin ji ni ji min ji ta te song go ya te ke chi bo res.
And among all of them, the most important samayas to keep really are the 14 samayas of the secret mantra. And these are common to all of the secret mantra. So once one has received empowerment, it is really most important to observe these 14 samaya.
Ni te la tangbo a je chatong ji no ni tangbo te so la ta wang da long da me nga te da tham ji chai je ding ban nang khin ke lama te la ene so ra ni gi ni ene li nga yi sam go ne dang zo chim go ne ka pan da ba ta ra no yin ke renda choya ra no yin ke ga ri ji ba ya na te ni ta te pe mi si ba a ga cha tong da bo cha go yo re si so xie ta bu de ni na so lo wang long me nga te so xin kin la ni wang long me nga xin kin ki da ding sim din ji za bi la ma te la na chi ma sha kan da bi na re da no yin ke ngo gon ren da chi ba ya na re ka ri chi ba ya na ya ta te la a ji za tong da bo cha go yo res.
So of these 14 tantric root downfalls, the first one is that, so it is that when one follows a guru, an authentic guru, and if one from whom one has received instructions and transmissions and empowerments, if one were to treat this guru with contempt or disrespected guru and go against that guru with in any way, then that constitutes the first root downfall. So it's specifically one's root guru has been very kind to one and who has given one empowerments, instructions, and transmissions. If one were to treat them with contempt or disrespect and so forth, so that constitutes the first root downfall.
Ni den da we ke wang long ang ke ka ding sim din ji za bi la ma te la na chi san ji tham ji ke chap ro cha go yo re si ta ti ba yin de za ni ta te la chi xie dang ta du da da chi ba ya na ku a ka cha tong tang bu den jung go yo re si.
I think I got cut out here. Can you still hear me? I can't hear anything.
Hello.
Oh, now I can hear. Shetan dan chadok lana tiniti chardu karasonin.
네 소소라 다 왕롱 맹아 징킹기 자빌라마테 단 디비 산지 남지 참라고 차되게 여러와 참라고 차되게 유바 인디자니 네 데라 네 링아 이섬고고니 소소케 당와다 다 득바다 드가 농진케 시와다 드가 농진케 메제비 차도라 수바지와이나 나는 고 가가 자동 담보데 중고 요레스.
So the root guru who possesses three kind of ways of being kind, so this root guru who bestows on us empowerment and transmissions and so forth, actually is representative of the past Buddhas. And so therefore, if I get angry or I'm jealous, or if we somehow treat the guru with contempt through our body, speech, and mind, and humiliate him and so forth, then that constitutes the first tantric root downfall.
드니 학사 동니바데 ane devership ak songjale ki denho samtang daga nongjin ke ane jideje don teda tamji chaijin da ha ko sosok ke domba ta tamchai lama yana teda tamji chaijin da ma songje ji ane che de se ne teda ji jawa yana ane ha ji za dong ni ba de de jin yong go yores.
And then the second one is, so then once one has understood properly the meaning of the various scriptures, like the 3 scripture collections and the tantras and the 4 classes of tantra, and then having understood these, if one does not follow them, if one transgresses them knowingly, then that constitutes the second downfall.
드니 nga ji za dong si ba de doji pan le chi ba ye ni ba jo ba sa ba ye sung are ta te yin ba yin de za ni ne so so ke chi 왕 냠들 신경다 상하게 지 왕냠들 신경다 다 농진기 찡거찍다 추비 도지 분루 펜서 발라 찍질 공조 사와야나 나는 하자 자동 선바된 주고 요레스.
The third one is to be angry with a Vajra sibling is the third downfall. So that refers to all those with whom one has received empowerment together, with whom one has entered a single mandala of the secret mantra. These are one's Vajra siblings. And if Vajra siblings get angry with one another, then that constitutes the third downfall.
하지 자동 예바다 심지나나 삼바 삼제 빵샤와야나 나 소소키 삼노키 지니 심지데다 탐지라 야보 마레 도보레나 삼딘 시 탁비 되네 때지 심지 가양롱아지라 나 삼노 동사와야나 나 하지 자동 예바다 중고 요레스 답베 차자와야나 지 소소라 소소키 지라스 삼비키 삼노 자와르네 메바차네다 심지지 파라보 가양지라 나 도보지 차나 마가와다 마지와 차나 삼시 탁비 되네 나 삼샤와야나. Then
the fourth is to when one abandons affection and love for sentient beings, for any being, that is number 4. And so that is so abandoning love is that first one had love and then one abandons it, and then one thinks a sentient being is someone is not good, they're bad. So if one really thinks that, if one really feels that, that constitutes the 4th downfall. So for example, so the love that you first had disappears, and then you come to not like someone or think that they're bad. So if one really thinks that, then that constitutes the 4th root downfall.
치지 자와산 조신 시대 bomba nga ba yin shi song yo da chi ji zawa si de zan do da ha chi kan de nyam sa la wa na zawa da wo de da san jo sin da bomba ni yong yo wa de yin ba yin de zan ni so so ki chi nyam len ba ji yin do da ha chi kan de nyam len ba ji yin na da de ki ji la na san jo sin bang cha me cha wa yin na na ko ha ji za dong yong yo re si da bo lang chi de ma song wa yin na da ko ha ji za dong yong yo wa.
Then number 5 is to abandon bodhicitta, which is the root of the Dharma, is the 5th downfall. And so when whatever one practices, whether one is a practitioner of the sutras or of the tantras, the root really is a bodhicitta and emptiness. And so then if one first takes up bodhicitta, one cultivates it, but then later one abandons it again, then that constitutes the 5th downfall.
네, 자동 주바다, 다 남바 산지비 치료 연한다, 드레인 남바 산지비 치료 마행바 연한다, 치료 그 점타 강나 매바 지바이나, 네, 아주 자동 기타 탐지 중고 요레스, 소소 시 탑이 되니, 네, 치료 그 점타 임발라, 매바 동야지 요르와 매바 동사와이나, 네, 아주 자동 기타 탐지 중고 요레스, 땅 하바 탐색 덴바지 제거와이나, 네, 산쪽 심파야다, 다 들어가는 이제 그 치료를 매바 던다 지야요 마레스.
And then the 6th one is to belittle any religion, whether it is now the Buddhist religion or any other religion, any other philosophical belief and so on, to belittle them and really believe in that constitutes the 6th downfall. And so if one has taken on the Samaya, just like before, of bodhicitta, and then abandons it, and then belittles the teachings, or denies the truth of the teachings, whether it's Buddhist or not Buddhist, such belittling and minimizing of the teachings constitutes the 6th downfall.
드니 아주 자동 담바데 근데 용스 마메 심지는 상와 주바 담바예시 드니 소소케 상로케 니세데다 탐지 야 말아파이나 에네 코롱 상하 타와 상하야나 안다 따따와 통보페나 다 사모 동바니지 동다바 데다 탐지 양고 상로라 니세 말아 지스 네 시샤와이나 에네 양 아주 자동 자기 요레스.
And then number 7 is to disclose the secret teachings to sentient beings who have not fully matured, is number 7. So when one tells someone with an immature mind about the secret mantra or about the highest view of profound emptiness and so on, it is premature for them. It is not the right time. And so if one tells them about these teachings prematurely, that constitutes the 7th root downfall.
네, 아주 자동 제바데 통보 산진가 다니 텔니 제바인시 되잖아 소소케 다 조보데 네 자와 랭아케 마멘비티스 땅 아주 통보가레 멘비티스 자와 랭아에 다니레 텔라 네 메바토얀로 땅 란시 자얀로 다 지와야나 네 아주 자동 주고 요레스.
And then number 8 is to abuse one's own aggregates, one's body. The embodiment of the 5 Buddhas is number 8. So in the unripe state, we have the 5 aggregates, but when they mature, when they ripen, then their very nature are the 5 Buddhas, the 5 Buddha families. And so therefore, if one abuses one's own body, or for example, even commits suicide, that constitutes the 8th downfall.
드링 하지 자동 거바데 란진 답이 치냐는 소녀 사와 거바인시 다 란진 답이 치시디 전에 나 저거마야나 남바 산지 비친 도다 나 가르야나 타와 넘버 타바 대달라 넘버 타바 임바라 임버 임바레시 테데 히바야나 타테 코롱 기바다 짐시 제레시 안다오다 가노je 테그니 토네 텐데 마레시 안다오다 텐데 지그 왕가타니 왕가 네 치라 거바데다 탐지 타와야나 네 란진케 아주 자동 거바틴 중고 요레스.
Number 9 is to doubt the pure nature of phenomena is 9. And so that could relate to the view expounded in the Madhyamaka, the Middle Way, or any other Buddha Dharma teaching in the sutras and the tantras. So when the authentic view is explained, and then one kind of refutes it and doubts it, and says that that's not really maybe true. So if one really doubts the true reality of things, then and then also minimizes it, that then constitutes the 9th downfall.
Nên ha je za dong je ba de ne je san ji den ba la ba chi chen ke la par la ma ke ka da na ha je tam che nyam par che ba ne ta wa ngin ba ga no yin ke sem jin yu la no jin che par che ba ne ti ta de ma ge wa ba shi chen kin de da tham je la ne so so ke ji ru bo da zang bo ya bo ji cha swa ya na ne de ha je za dong je ba cha ge yo res.
Number 10 is to maintain loving relations with evildoers is 10. And so an evildoer is anyone who causes harm to others, and for example who disrespects or looks down on the guru and representations of the Buddha, and someone who violates the mantric Samaya, someone who is holding corrupt views, and someone who is engaging in activities that cause a lot of harm to sentient beings, someone who is always engaging in non-virtuous activities. So to be in a close relation with such a one, that constitutes the 10th downfall.
Tani nga chitawa chukchik pada tani wama chimbo da zomba chimbo chaja chimbo deda tamji soso ke chai yin da tuk de tukpa tsamda maji de nyamli ji yinba la nyensha chikla de dawo de nyamli maji wa yana nyamli maji na la swa yana nga chitong yung res.
And then the 11th is to basically to not engage in the practice that one was committed to. So, for example, if one has one is practicing the Madhyamaka or Dzogchen or Mahamudra, one has gained an authentic understanding and realization of it, and then one is engaging in ongoing practice. And then one day, if one stops the practice and one doesn't engage in practice, then that constitutes the 11th downfall.
Nga ka tsatung chuni pa de lama da Konchok sam yung ten tenpa tang deda tamji li yi chi pa tang dobi tepa sam da tenpi kanza deda tamji la ane soso ki jini chi jen chi xie tukpo yo na chi ma xie wa tang deda tamji li pen tuk drap tukpo yo na pen tuk ma dra wa tang deli do de tadong ya deda tamji ki tepa deda tamji nyambar tsepa deda tamji la tepa nyambar tsepa deda tamji tawa lokbar tsepi ta ji xia ya na ane korong ha ke tsatung chuni pa tang yung yo res.
The number 12 is to discourage those who have faith in the teachings, who trust in the guru and the three jewels, who are inspired and who have faith and devotion. So then if, for example, one is able to teach them the Dharma, but one doesn't teach them, or if one is able to benefit them, help them, but one does not help them, or even worse, if one actually really destroys their faith and their devotion, and tries to kind of bring them to a a kind of a corrupt understanding, a misunderstanding, a wrong view, that constitutes the 12th downfall.
네, 그 자동 죽삼반에 암색 체진의 마티메이나 그러니까 자동 윤거레스 암색 체진의 시대장에 간다르시는 하 주비티스 총코르고시야 제타나 지요르다 총코코비티스 파오파무 como carong cheda te tempa kaps papi tamche ji doje ta trib yuji la sopa maung wa tang ini chung yo je chanang hyanga de nga te da tamchi ke ta so so ke ji long ma jo wa tang ta no ji ke le ro karal la chai la sopa ta mambu chi a long su jo da je go yo re ta chu ko lo ko de da tamchi chai jin da ma ji ba yana nang ha ga cha tong chu sam ba de yung go res.
So then number 13 is then failing to rely on the Samaya substances at the right time is number 13. So, for example, in the context of a talk, a feast offering, so then one must also rely on appropriate Samaya substances according to the context, like seeing all the participants as dakas and dakinis, and then also relying on the ritual implements such as the baja and the bell and so forth, and also the partaking of the Samaya substances such as the 5 meats and the 5 nectars. And also the other parts, including song and dance and so on. Whatever is a kind of part of the ritual is included within this category of Samaya substances, and so not to practice them properly constitutes the 13th downfall.
Tani nga jatong jibjipa te ene shirabranji pime la mo prasipa tholo shasi tani doje pamola supu keteba ene pime te da thamjele she thapa deni sawaro ne meba tong ning mares meba ta dungwa ta tikpa la supa sawaro ne se ning mares kasi she thapi deni pime te da thamjila ene mo ba tang mera tong yan ro da ga no ji dungne tang ga no ji ke ne chiba yana ene nga jatong jibjipa da nyungo yores.
And then number 14 is to disrespect women who are the nature of wisdom is number 14. And so that is to, once one has taken this vow, one is not to look down at females such as Vajrayogini and all the other women. So not at all can one look down on them or abuse them or humiliate them or kind of belittle them or minimize them in any way. Really, one must not feel that in one's heart. And if one does feel that in one's heart and with a wish to humiliate them and disrespect them and put them down and so on, if one engages in such activity from within the heart, then that constitutes the 14th root downfall.
Tani ta ngaso che sangha doje tekpa nyamslengi ta lapar de soso ke chabil lamin deni wang hi chawai na tamchai le ni gore tamchai le ni sia te sangha tamchai ta chetang ke mambo yore de zo tamchai chipje de da tamji song chwai na ene lamit sanap de da tamji jile juya ta ta tani la tan la yedam je la sadwa ya na yan rat ta ta sanap chiwa no ta de ji yung yores.
So, as practitioners of the secret mantra Vajrayana, especially if we have received empowerment from our root guru, it's very important that we also keep our samayas. And so there are generally many samayas in the secret mantra, but most importantly, we should keep those 14 root samayas. And if we are able to keep them, then the blessings of the guru will really enter us, and we will also be able to accomplish the yidam deity and receive the deity's blessings.
Ta soso ke wang topi ke la de da tamjila soso ke nyemba si de zane nyemba ke dangsa ya dang da no ji driba si de zane la de so gurji debata and draba chimbo cities and draba chimbo cities and ngaso chinkor hyatse ni chowo chodab de jibi goni and draba chimbo gari chiba yana so yore ta gari chiba yana and sanga ku chi de da tamjile tin teni and teni and koron lejor lele jo sel lele jo was de ta koron sanga ku chi de da tamjil la kanon wa jile draba dratte and cherma ta ne me ba ta chutumung chugung drap de da tamji toper 노바 대다 탐지기 나서 남반니스 거니 시고레스.
So then once we have received an empowerment of a deity, and then we practice a deity. So there are those two parts of we are reciting the mantra, which is the approach part, and then we accomplish the deity. And so then there's also the great accomplishment practice where we practice together in one mandala. So whatever form it takes when we practice the secret mantra teachings, we practice whichever deity we're kind of karmically destined to practice. And if we accomplish this deity, then one's wishes will be accomplished. One experiences, one will achieve a long lifespan and freedom from illness and attain the common and the supreme siddhis. So in these there's two ways in which we have to see this.
네 대연바인데 자네 치당 기시나 디나반이보다 가르레스나 라이 포지 모지 가르이나양 신더지이나양 대다 탐지라 쫑메시 용딘데바 네바 가야 레레 요바 네바 찹창 요바 대다 찍바 찍장 레스.
So what are these two? So male or female, whatever deity you practice, we should know that the deity has no fault and only possesses the same qualities, the same power. So they are exactly the same.
레디나 양다 셉닥 차니 라데다 탐지라 양코롱 문지 몰랑게 톱진 니바 만다와 요레스 페나 집진 잠비 양다와 yana 시럽지 라양바다 파파 끼네제 다와 yana 닝지게 라양바다 집진 차나도지 다와 yana 그 니비게 라양바 인데지게 라 데다 탐지라 챵당게 제자 니바 라오 요르티 이나양 니바 몽고 몰랑 그 탑지 양 니바 만다와 데다 중구 요레스.
So this is how it is general, but then specifically each deity also, due to the very specific aspiration prayers that a deity has made in the past, they are endowed with specific powers. For example, for this reason, like Manjushri is a wisdom deity, like a deity of knowledge and wisdom. Or Chandresik is a deity of compassion, and Vajrapani is a deity of great power. So even though ultimately they are this one and the same, it is that due to specific prayers that they have made that they are endowed with different qualities or powers.
Tani ti imba indi sani tani ta sebra polam chipar ke wang ke ane la mandawa te da thamji la yang yung ti mandawa da chungu yores te imba indi sani tani indi no chongking do pa ozar chi lam do chongking do pa se de kama te da thamji pha du par se ba la lam ozar chi ma si chi yore ta te jip sing ro ma ni shi cha ki no ni chi yin te su ane draw so pa na po che sin da te da tham che ki pa che chi we na la mo na po che sin da hla chi yore ta te yan ro da de chi res
Yang tuthap na la twa. This tuthap. Na po che
la chi ki me de
which page is that?
na
Page karare. Shoktang karatok. Which page?
Shudang ta ta ngap ja chupa jikti sung ka kampam shudang
Ni kampung ane
jikti sung ka kampam tere shan jikti sung ka kampam ane Kambam nongke shudibdang ngabjaji saksam nundo.
Tanang ang sutuptat nang layo mara.
Tab nuni tad tab go ken chojo do resha. Tad tangke chomkin teda tamji do bahlamo ozerchi masi ne lachi ki mingrin do napo chi sin lachi ki mingrin do. Ranga su tab nunu mendo.
Amintok, okay.
Tab tin gola tena da chindo.
To kola due. Ali en korang tutup tayo mara inchitela.
Inchi no jemendo.
Tinala ang drama nisho tachit nala chikri ra.
Lamo ozerchi masi domani sakti no chirendo.
Isa chimara. So this is not in the sadhana, but so then it is now due to the specific prayers and that deities have made that they have appeared in different forms and possess different qualities and different powers. And so, for example, now regarding this deity, for example, there is one after the 21st and the 21 Taras, Usa Jema, is it Mariji? After 21 Taras is, and then there is one like the like a black emanation of Tara, and for example, she would have the power to overcome, destroy all enemies and obstructions and so forth.
Ini te imba tini pema shawarada ene neyam las nga sungwe kaps ene lamo da dribaya na ene ta pintu ya do tadareja lamo pema shawarada neyam te da tamji sungwe kaps ene lamo da dribaya na ene ta neyam te da tamji la neyam te da tamji mupu kap tadareji pintu yo ba tadareji reis.
And then so similarly, Panashavari's special quality is to dispel epidemic disease. And so at times of epidemic disease, if we practice her, then the benefit of that is that one will not be affected by epidemic disease. One will not catch it.
Tenis shibji wanda ke sangha ke li kang tang kang yana nam sam himpa ke drukun dosi. Tene sangha ke li shiwa da jipa wang rapo karachi drap go yona nam sam himpi drupur josi nam sam sidi chani ana tang tang di tang sema te da tam jir go ndo. Tang lap di chani himpa ke tang se tape ma shawa na dawana himpi tang se bam ye shire doa. La nong ye ke tin tene ti cho chepar ke nya tong chipji sing nga chu tre ke yo nya tong chipji chipje chonga chi nye nga te da tamji chu chipra da wa rin no ti so yaga te da chi tsige ba te da tamji tang nen chema si ti chane la te da tamji draw yun ti chani nen la te da tamji tripi ken chema yo ba ta chema te da tamji ngi si yo ba te de chi la go gondo.
And so whichever of the four enlightened activities of the secret mantra one wishes to accomplish, such as pacifying and wrathful, increasing and magnetizing. So in order to accomplish these, we must accomplish the deity. And so the deity is accomplished, it is said, through like the practice of the deity and the mantra accumulation, which is a certain number of mantra accumulations. For example, in the case of Panashavarim, it is 2 million mantra recitations. And so then it is that when the numbers are accumulated, signs will occur. And also, so there's two parts to it. One is the numbers, and the second one is on special days. So, for example, on the full moon or the new moon day, or the like the 8th or the 10th or the 25th, 15th or 30th, on those special day in the Tibetan calendar, if one practices deity then and accumulates the number of mantras, then the signs, symbols and signs of the deity will actually manifest.
Tini te imba indi tsane da lan da tamji drip di tsane nyemba te da tamji yang da ba Sagoya, Nimba la Tingoa, Kichimboredas, and the Nimba de la Tamgia, Wang la Nimba de la Tamki, Nimba de la Tamisam, the Wang Tagoya, the Mississippi Kichimboredas, Nimba de la Tanimasam, Akarabaya, and Wang Tagoya Kichimbores.
So whatever deity we are to practice, the actual mantra recitation, to actually recite the mantra of the deity, is very important. And before that, it's very important to receive the empowerment. And thereafter, it is important to actually recite the mantras of whichever deity one practices.
Wang Teda Tamjia, Soso Gila, Ma Toga, the Wang Yang Uchi Lingo, and Wang Lensi Lama Teda Tamjila, the Nikon Soso Gilama Teda Gila, Sanchok Sin Yoba, Japsam Dombayang Tapayoba, Kunjosam, Jam to Dombayang Tapayoba, Rano Parot Battle, Unotumba, and Kualang Im Jong Yongki, the Dindich Yuayana, and the Korowang Teda Tamji, Lama, the Dindich Jinima, Wang Lamayana, and the Wang Teda Tamjana Gila, Yunga dose.
And with regard to receiving the empowerment should be received from an authentic guru, who is someone who possesses bodhicitta and an authentic refuge vow commitment to the three jewels, and someone who really reflects the practice of the 6 paramitas, and someone who also possesses renunciation to samsara. So if one receives the empowerment from such a guru, then one will really receive an authentic empowerment.
Ni wang so la wang yo ni tam che ji de song twa yana na la kan da ji da na man da ba ji za wa ro na yung ko man do si o de ni te yanda.
And so once you have received empowerment and samaya, if you are able to keep the samaya perfectly, properly, then no matter which deity, there is no deity that cannot be accomplished. They can all be accomplished.
Yeah, ni so sta.
Okay, so the time is over.
Thank you, Khenpo, for your teaching. Wonderful teaching. Thank you. Ina, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So from later we take a 30 minutes break, tea break. So after 30 minutes, Abulama will lead the practice. Okay, see you later.